Welcome to Black Hat Hacking series. So in this video, we'll cover about the detection ratio of the Trojans and how the antivirus works. So everything we'll be covering in this video. So let's start. So if you remember, in our last videos, we have created a Trojan from the Ramcos, which we send it to people and we gain their control, and we've seen how it works even over the VPS. But as I explained you before, that this file is detectable by the antivirus. Most of the antiviruses in the world will catch it. And I told you that we will do the crypting practicals later on, in which we'll discuss that how we can make this file undetectable or fully undetectable. So right now, how you can scan this file from the various antiviruses to get to know that how much antivirus is detecting and how much antivirus is not detecting this file. So there are two methods. Whether you have to install a lot of antiviruses in your computer and update them first and then you scan it. That's a very long process. Or whether what you can do is the easiest and the simple process. You can go to any of the website, you just upload your file there, and the website will scan more than 30 antivirus in 2 minutes, and it will give you the results that how many antivirus catch your file and how many antivirus say clean. Now I have to explain a little bit about these websites. Like this, the first one is the virustotal.com, which is a product by the Google. So they scan the files with more than 60 antivirus in the world. This one have more than 30 antivirus and this one have more than 25 antivirus. Now you would say that VirusTotal is best then. Yes, I would say it's best, but only for the files which you download from the internet and you suspect and you do not trust the files. But you should not scan your Trojans over the VirusTotal. Why so? Because they share your results with the antivirus companies. For example, you created a Ramcos file. Then you have bought a crypter and you turned your file into undetectable. Now you want to check it that your file is really got undetectable or not. So maybe you will scan it over the VirusTotal, and what they will do, they'll first scan with all the antivirus and they'll give you the results, and after that they will send your file to the antivirus companies as well for the further research. And when the antivirus companies will research over your file will become detectable in few days. So your every effort will go away. Right? So you should not scan your files on the VirusTotal because they share the results with other antivirus companies. So there is second website which may or may not share the results with antivirus companies because they have no data written on their website. But it's also a good website. The third one is a nodistribute.com. Even their name says that they do not distribute the results with antivirus companies. So if you scan your undetectable files there, your files will remain undetectable for a longer period of time. So you can use only VirusTotal for the files which you download from the internet, which is not your file, which you do not trust even. So even if that would be shared with antivirus companies, it's no more going to affect you because it's somebody's file which you downloaded from the internet. Just to protect yourself, you're scanning it over the VirusTotal. So in that perspective, VirusTotal is the best. So let me show you all of them. Like the first one is the VirusTotal, where you can choose the file. I can choose my update which we created last time with the Ramcos, and it will see, okay, it would scan it, and now the analyzing is in the progress. So till it's scanning, I will also scan on the second website, update, same file here, and no distribute as well with the same method. If you see, our file is right now detectable by more than 51 antivirus out of 67 on the VirusTotal. As I said before, that right now the file is detectable. Let's see about the Meta Defender. It have only 35 antivirus with which it scans, and out of which 24 are detecting it. So which is very bad. As I said, the file is not ready yet to send it across the world to hack people. So we have to make our file undetectable. Now how antivirus works. Till the point we do not know how antivirus works, we cannot make our file undetectable. Like the concept would not be clear in your head. As I said, that if you see, there is a hash for every file. Whether you crypt it, whatever you do with this file, the hash will remain same of the Trojan. So this hash is actually the antivirus companies research over them. They gain this type of hashes of the various Trojans, and then they make it into the signatures, and that signatures your antivirus updates from the internet. And once it updates from the internet, it have all these hashes. So if it have the hash, it could also detect your file. Now I would tell you that how we can make our file undetectable. It can only be done if the antivirus will not be able to calculate the hash. We will lock our file in that way, we will hide our file in that way, we'll fold our file in that way that antivirus will not be even able to calculate its hash. It will not be able to even see it. For example, my friends know my face. If I go in front of them, they can locate me very easily, that hey, how are you? But if I wear some hats, add some mouse stitches on my mouth, add some little other stuff on my mouth, so they'll not be able to detect me, that who I am. So that's the thing we have to do with this Trojans. Basically, we have to add a lot of parameters in that, make it fold, make it compress, make it crypt. We do a lot of changes in the file, that when antivirus will see it, it will see that no, it's not that thing which I have it in my signature, it's something else. So you can go away, you are pass. But I'll explain you more deeply that how it works. I have a picture, payload Jaggery creation. Now there is also one name. You can also call the payloads basically to your backdoors, to your Trojans, to your rats. It's also a same term which you could use. So if you see, the blue one is your Trojan. If you do a simple encoding over your Trojan, there are three methods you can use over your Trojan basically to make it undetectable. The first one is that you just make a basic layer of encoding. So three things: encoding, encryption, and compression. Let me first give you what are these three. Like encoding, you have a text, suppose ABCD. ABCD. You just encode it and you can write it ADBC, which is still ABCD, but you have encoded it into a different form. It's written into a different form, but it's still ABCD. So if you just encode it, it's very simple for antivirus to detect it. So only encoding cannot protect your file. The next thing is encryption. Encryption is that totally change your file. Encryption works through mathematical formulas, that you will multiply your file with some number, divide, subtraction, addition. You do a lot of mathematical calculations with it, and it will turn into a totally new value, maybe 093GX. So ABCD is converted into totally new value. So when you want to again convert it into ADBC, you have to again revert back that calculations of mathematics, and then it will be converted back into ADBC. So maybe antivirus companies are also very smart nowadays. They are also have all the decryption algorithms of that common encryptions which are used by the crypton companies or the Trojan companies. So the antivirus could also decrypt it, convert it into ADBC, and can decode it and convert it into ABCD. Then it's almost naked and it can detect it. So till the point it's not naked, it cannot convert it into hash. It will compare hash with hash and it can detect it. So the first layer is encoding, then you can maybe make it encryption, and the third thing which you can do is compression. Compression is like you compress it. Like there is a big paper, you can fold it, and it becomes very small. So whatever is in between the paper, you have to first unfold the paper, and then you can detect it, what's inside written in the paper. So we can also compress it to decrease its size even, and to evade the antivirus even. So if you see, the first is just encoding is used, which is very normally can be broken by antivirus. And the second way is that first you use a Trojan, then you encode it. Encoding is always done second. If you see, on the second step is always encoding. I'll tell you why. The third thing is you can first encrypt it and then you can compress it, or maybe first you can compress it and then you can encrypt it. Any way you can do it, but encoding is always been done on the second level. Why so? Because if you first convert it ABCD into the encrypted text, basically into the cipher, and then you encode it like this way. First you encrypt it to this value and then you maybe encode it like 930XG. It's the same value written with an encoded thing, but if you little change it, it cannot be decrypted because whole thing is changed. So that's why encoding is done before, and then it should encrypted so that it can convert it back into ADBC, and ADBC can be converted back into ABCD. So encryption is done after it, encoding. Then maybe you can use compression. And even with these steps, if you do all these four, still nowadays antivirus companies can detect it, because they can first decompress your file, decrypt your file, de-encode, and detect your naked Trojan. So what is being done by our softwares, which we call them cryptors, they do multiple cycles over it. They first take your Trojan, encode it, encrypt it, compress. They again encode, again encrypt, again compress, again encode, again encrypt, again compress. Or maybe the encoding is being done one time, because, as I said, because maybe it will not be able to convert back the file. So maybe again encrypt, again compress, again encrypt, again compress. So it will give multiple cycles over it, and then antivirus would not be able to know that how much cycles are being given over it, and maybe antivirus will not be able to make it naked and able to detect it. So that's how it's being done. So how now you will think that, oh my god, it's a very typical process to convert a Trojan into undetectable. No, there are already a ready-made softwares which we have to download from the internet, which we call them usually cryptors, into a simple form. But actually they are not the only cryptors, is which basically we call it which crypt. But actually they do not only crypt, they do encoding as well, do encryption as well, they do compression as well. So they do a lot of things basically. But in the general way, over the internet, people call them cryptors, which you can buy it. There are different cryptors, which we will be discussing into the next video, that what type of cryptors are available in the market, what are their difference, what's their cost. Usually in between to $10 to $100, there are various cryptors, thousands of cryptors available in the market. You just download or buy a cryptor. You just put your file, the Ramcos file in between that, and it will save. It will give multiple cycles over encoding, encryption, and compression, and save a new file in your computer in just 1 minute. And then if you scan that file, it will be undetectable. Simple. So we do not need to do this process. This process I have explained to you for your own knowledge, because knowledge is the key to success. If I just make you, a dummy hacker or a script kiddie. Script kiddie is something which you can just use the software, that's it. But I want to make a hacker who must be knowing the details as well in between. Here we'll discuss about the cryptors, that how we'll make our Trojans undetectable, or FUD fully undetectable, so that any antivirus would not be able to catch it, or very limited antivirus would be able to catch it. So let's start. So first of all, we'll go a little bit in more detail of the cryptors, that what type of cryptors are available in the market, which we will buy or which you'll use to make your file undetectable. So first one is the public stub cryptors, and the second one are the private stub cryptors. Basically, when you buy the cryptors, it will be rarely written with them that it's a public stub or a private stub. You have to actually go into the more details of that cryptor, or you have to search about it, that this is actually a public stub or a private stub. Now what's the difference between both of them is, for example, I have made a cryptor. I'll give you one example with the name of maybe ABC cryptor. Now to make a cryptor, I have to write down a long code, maybe of 400 lines, 500 lines, and that 500 lines of code will keep on do encryption, encoding, compression on your files which you use in my crypto. Like you have got a ramcos Trojan, like this update.exe which we have created before. You'll use my ABC crypto, in which I have wrote 400-500 lines of code, which will do a lot of calculations over this file. It will give a lot of cycles over it, and it will make your save a new file in your computer. Now the code which I have wrote will remain same to anybody will buy my crypto. Like anybody buys, suppose I sold to 100 people my ABC crypto. So all will be having my same code in their crypto. So if one of the person will do a mistake and he will upload the file which he create again after the crypto on the virustotal.com, and virustotal.com will send the file obviously to the antivirus companies, and then everyone, all 100 people's file will start detected by antivirusing. Like one crypto, same for everyone. One code, same for everyone. But private stub is different and it's little costly, in which, for example, I have 500 lines of code in my ABC crypto, in which I will, every time a person buys from me, I will change minimum 20 lines of code every time for every customer. So that if one of the customers' file got detected over the internet, the second customer or the other customers will not be infected. Everyone will be having their own code, a different code, which will keep their file remain a FUD for a longer period of time. So I hope you are clear that this is the same code for everyone, and there is a little different code for every person, so that they'll not be affected if one file gets detected. But in this case, if one gets detected, everyone starts detecting, because same code is used by every person over their files. Now, what are the cryptors available in the market? Now, there are hundreds of cryptors available in the market. If you go to hackforms.net, if you go to a lot of sites, basically, you just have to Google it, that FUD cryptor buy or undetectable cryptor buy. You'll see hundreds of sites basically. Now, I would not guide you that which website you have to buy, which not. Why so? Because every website is different. Maybe there could be one cryptor which is good today, and tomorrow it's got detected, or after 1 week or after 10 days it starts detected by a lot of antiviruses. There is no cryptor permanent in the world who is permanent give you better results. No cryptor. Because like today you're using one cryptor and you converted your file, very soon, maybe in 10 days, 20 days, 1 month, 2 months, the antivirus companies will be able to locate your file, will be able to start detecting your file, and then you have to maybe update that cryptor. If that cryptor company is giving you the update, a new code they have to give you, so that again your file will become undetectable from the new code with a new update. If that cryptor company is not giving you updates frequently, then that cryptor is none of any use. So whether that cryptor have to keep on updating every month, if it doesn't update, it's no more good. So the reason is there is nothing permanent. Without update, there is no cryptor in the world who can remain permanent FUD. So you have to keep on shifting to first cryptor to second cryptor. Like every month you have to look for new cryptors, or you have to update your old cryptors if the update is available. But I have wrote few cryptor names which I have found, like which people, a lot of students, a lot of my known students or known people are using it, like USG cryptor, data protectors, pattern cryptor, and Kazi cryptor, which is giving quite good results to them. But no one is permanent. As I said, that sometimes USG gets very bad and there is no update available for them, so they buy a different one, and maybe after 1 month or 2 months there is update comes up with the USG, then they again buy USG because now this one is good. So it's keep on changing. There is no one permanent. And how to buy it, I will also not guide you any specific websites that go there, go that, because I do not have, I do not do that type of work, like I take commissions from that side or that side. So you can Google their names and you'll get the websites on their own and you can buy it. But one thing more I like to add here is that as much websites you will see to buy the hackers stuff, like whether you want to buy a cryptor, whether you will buy a lot of other stuff. I'll show you later on in the videos. 80% of the hacking based websites are fraud. So maybe you'll be paying them, you'll be getting a lot of people, Skype IDs, ICQ IDs, that they'll just contact you on hackforms.net. Especially there are hundreds of sellers available there. They'll keep on ready to sell you, but 80% are the frauds. Maybe they'll take your money. Like if the USG maybe costs $50, they'll take your $50 and they'll never revert you back. Or maybe it's also possible that they'll they have a cracked version of USG which is 6 months old, and the cracked version do not get the updates. And as I said, without the updates, no cryptor is good more than a month, because after 1 month, antivirus company starts detecting it. Without update, it's no more good. So maybe they'll give you old version of cryptor, which with which even you use it, it's still none of any use. So you have to very consciously buy it over the internet, these type of stuff. Or maybe you can speak with the people that they have to first show a demo over the internet, or they have to live show you send them your file, that crypt it and revert me back, and then you scan it over the internet on the virus, not the virus total, basically not on the Metascan, or maybe on the no distribute, that really what cryptor he used on your file is undetectable. Now your file is undetectable or no. If your file is now undetectable, you can pay him and you can take his cryptor. You know that he's having a latest cryptor or latest code, latest stub he's having. Or you can also search for the private stub cryptors as well on the internet, but still there is no surety. There are a lot of sites they are writing that they have private stub, but no surety that they'll give you really a private stub, or they'll just fraud and they'll still give you public stub. So there are a lot of scams over the internet. So you have to be conscious while buying. I cannot guide you any specific websites to buy. And there is also hackforms.net, rackings.com, like but you have to be conscious while buying, and rest you'll get from the Google as well. So let me show you a demo, a quick demo. I have a cryptor, X cryptor basically, and it's not a very good one. Basically it's a very cheap cryptor. Just for a demonstration purpose I got it. I run it so I can show you how a cryptor works. It takes few seconds to come up. So it comes up. I want to select a file like this one, update.exe, which we created from Ramcos, and this is the things which it does on its own, the .NET version. You can change the .NET version, like right now it's 2.0. If you change it to 4.0, the detection ratio would be different. You can try with both the levels. In every cryptor you'll see the same stuff. There will be a lot of stuff. Whether you want to change it, whether you do not change it, you just click on the crypt or the protect. You just import your file and export your file. That's it. I crypt it. And in the folder, it created a new file with the name of update output. I can give it again a name. I would say crypted file. So this is our old file, and if you remember the last video, 24 out of 35 antiviruses were catching it. Now let's go back again and scan the new file which we have created from the cryptor. Now that cryptor basically automatically do the compressions, encoding, crypting, everything it do on its own. So crypted file, and let's see. So before 25 antiviruses were caught catching it, and now only 10. But I'm not saying that 10 is a very good ratio. As I said before, that I'm using actually a very cheap cryptor right now just for a demonstration purpose. But once you buy some good ones, as I have mentioned, or more, there are hundreds more available over the internet, good ones, they would let your detection ratio to maybe just 2 or 3 antivirus will catch it, or maybe even 0. So if you see which ones are catching it, Avira is catching as a Trojan, ESET is catching it, iChorus is catching it, and K7. So these are the 10 antivirus which is catching. That's strange that Kaspersky is not catching, which I trust. According to me, the Kaspersky is the best antivirus, which is not catching here, which is very strange, but not a problem. So I hope you got an idea that how cryptors work, and now I think you'll be able to buy your own cryptors, use your own cryptors over your files. Then your files would be ready to send it. And the more advanced cryptors like Kazi or the other ones, the cryptors which you buy, they also have the features of Celeste in between them, that you'll be able to change even your icons. Like right now, if you see, it's just giving a very bad icon of a exe over it, so which is making a file untrustable to the victim. So in the advanced cryptors, in the good cryptors, you'll also have a feature of changing icons, binding with some PDF and all that. So a lot of other features even you'll get into the cryptors in between, and you can use them then later on. I hope you liked the video, and thank you for watching.